future Colton, good luck with that. I don't know what to tell you.
Problem for another day.
Yeah, that's for me sitting in a hotel trying to edit this, but whatever. So yeah, that's why I didn't put chapstick on. That's like, dang. Anyways, welcome back, listeners. This is the Do Not Listen show.
Episode
7.
Is it really?
Yeah, 7.
Dang.
6, 7.
See you guys later on the next episode.
Yeah, we had to keep it short, so we're doing short reels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So what's been up, bud? It's been a
work and school, man. The same old working on the Colt. You know, I've had a few people reach out about joining, so we're taking off.
That's
you know?
good.
I'm it's good. Looking at properties in the Bahamas now, just for the mysterious island part.
Yeah. You could try like Costa Rica though. Like keep it cheap.
You think you think I could rent out Alcatraz? And my followers could just live in jail cells?
They're shutting down Rikers, the prison. So
I bet I could get that for a good deal.
Yeah, they're shutting it down. Mandami said
I'll have to send them an email.
Yeah.
See what I can get my hands on.
Well, that's what's up. Shout out to the Colt.
Yeah.
What's up? Represent.
How's the travel life?
Dude, it's tiring. For the first time ever, I went to Jackson, Mississippi, and for the first time, they were almost completely sold out of hotels, and
Dang.
I had to sweet talk my way to getting a room because I was like,
but it was one of those like rooms that had like rats and stuff in it. Huh?
No. I would have driven home. I would have driven 3 hours back to do that. But no, it's just been dude, it has been so hot.
Yeah, it's been miserable.
It is insane, bro. Like, why? Why?
The world hates us. It's really it.
It's actually insane. I feel like because I'm from Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm already like well prepared for the heat and all that jazz. And I don't know what it is. It's getting worse.
Different. I think it's really the humidity. Because it makes you sweat so much quicker.
Yeah, but even when I was younger, it never bothered me this much.
And now we're old.
Yeah.
Now it bothers us because we're old.
Now I'm always pissed off. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, now I get it. I understand.
The other day at work, I went through 3 sets of work clothes.
All right, that's crazy.
Yeah. I can't, man. Like if I sweat too much at work, I got to shower and change because one of my biggest fears is that like I'll be treating a patient or in the back of the ambulance or whatever, and I stink, you know?
Yeah.
And someone's like, dang, what's that smell? I'm immediately like.
But what if that brings back to life?
That's bad, man. That means I stink so much that they came back.
That's crazy.
And I'll go back to the station and cry. Just cry.
Hey, but you saved a life, so it's kind of worth it. You can cry with like happy tears.
Maybe.
Kind of to continue off from the last show, you asked a great question of who would, play you in a movie.
Before we answer, though, like and subscribe.
Yeah, we're trying to do a thing right now. So,
I'll try to slide that in there.
Yeah, that was really nice. If you're listening to us on like whatever, please follow whatever the thing is that people say now. Yeah. On any platform. At this point, it literally doesn't matter. Nope. So we just want to keep growing and keep doing this thing. So yeah.
We appreciate all the support so far. Last episode did very well.
Really well, actually. And that's a shout out to y'all. So thank you for that. As we're sitting here, I'm actually uploading the episodes to Patreon. So if you would like to see all the episodes starting from the first one, they are live right now.
And the secret episodes.
Patreon, yes. Yeah.
We have the lost episode from the last podcast.
Well,
we've got a Patreon episode.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, so those are going up. We're going to put the unfiltered versions up for free just to try to figure things out. So that should be fun. And the one that we filmed that we said we were going to do for a paid version, we were just like, why not just do it? Because honestly, I'm not going to lie. I've been trying to figure out a way to get like more of the King in Yellow.
The King in Yellow
in. I've been trying to figure that out more. So I've been trying to like, I've been trying to like manipulate Corey of like, how can we do this, but like for free so I can get the information. So, but we're going to keep working on all that stuff. And
it's okay. I got another rabbit hole to go down that I'm going to go down. I plan on going down tonight before bed. So who knows?
Okay. All right. Well, I don't like you doing that after I just said I wanted to know more about the last thing, and I don't know more about the last thing. So
knowledge comes at a price.
So anyways, movies. Yep. However, I did want to do one last thing, and it may be a little messy, but I don't care.
All right, I'm ready.
I actually I want to start with because we should start with a question, right? With the one from last week, right? Yeah. But I have another question behind that. So should we do last week's question first or the one that I have a question first?
We'll do last week's question first and then follow up with yours.
Okay. Because I think...
So who would play you in a movie? So the movie's about yourself, though. So the person that's cast is going to play you in an autobiography or whatever. Okay. So I thought about it, right? Like really long and hard, right? And I have two choices. Mm-hmm. My first choice, Tom Cruise. That's my number one choice. I thought about that long and hard, and I'm like, there's nobody that could wouldn't
just
watch
like
it. I'm sorry. I wouldn't watch it.
My emotional level like Tom Cruise.
I don't think he's ever played a movie that he showed an emotional level.
That's actually really crazy because he did in a lot of different films. So that's absolutely
maybe
wild.
The emotional level of a rock,
or like I don't know, a vampire, or like a kid dying in an army school. But like, what do I know, right?
Who's the second actor?
Okay, so the second one I also thought really long and hard, and
it's also Tom Cruise.
It's Cruise Tom.
Yeah, his cousin.
So the second person I chose was Adam Driver, and I don't know what it is, but but there's like I don't know what it is. I couldn't figure it out.
The more I think about it, the more I could kind of see it.
It's like emo, but like also really passionate. But
he's got the hair for sure.
Yeah, because see, that's where I got stuck. I was like, do I focus on like the physical aspects or like someone that could probably mimic me as a person?
I think he could do it.
And I was like, Tom Cruise, Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver for
sure.
The
third guy, I can never remember his name, but he played in the, what's the show called? That just came back out with the Knights and the Dragons and
The Wizard of Oz.
No.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons. The
I've
original,
never seen it.
But the original
Game
one.
of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Never seen it.
Never seen it either. But the guy, Kit.
Oh, Kit Harington.
Kit Harington. I feel like he's like my third choice.
Wasn't he in the Eternals?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I don't know, man. He was in something.
But then
or maybe he was like Moon Knight or something. I don't know.
Moon Knight was Oscar or something.
De La Hoya, the boxer?
No. It's Pedro Pascal's friend.
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I did think about somebody for you.
All right, I'm ready.
But I'm going to tell you afterwards because it's going to make you mad. So.
Oh, I can't wait. So I thought about it, and my first pick, of course, was Tom Holland. He's got he's.
I don't see that.
Short brown hair,
Okay.
I really couldn't think of anyone that was perfect. I mean, I could say Tom Hardy, but that's a big dude, man.
You were so off. That's actually kind of crazy.
And I was going off of base. I've only ever been told that I look like 3 actors ever.
4, but
yeah, 4 technically, actually, because someone once told me I did look like a young Tom Cruise, and it ate at me. I couldn't sleep for weeks. Okay. And I think it's just because like I keep my hair short and like combed over. I've been told I look like Tom Holland, which I'll take. I've been told I look like Tom Cruise, or not Tom Cruise, excuse me, Tom Hardy, Tom Holland, a young Tom Cruise, all Toms, and then Doc Holliday from Yellowstone.
Yeah,
Val Kilmer.
That was my third one.
So if I could have anyone from any like age or era, young Val Kilmer for sure. I think he'd nail
Val
it.
Kilmer would be fire.
Yeah.
Another
Doc Holliday playing me. Perfect.
Henry Ford. Not Henry Ford. What's his name? I was going to say Tom Ford, but that's a designer.
Henry Cavill?
No. Han Solo.
Why can't I just blanked on his
Yeah,
name.
it's Ford.
Yeah.
Every time I think of the name, I'm like, wait, is that the guy who made Ford, the company?
Why can I not think of his? He was
He's a man, but like,
Indiana Jones,
yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry.
Is it Henry Ford?
I don't know now. I don't know why I am.
I just blanked. I said Henry Ford out loud and it didn't sound right. I know it's not Tom Ford.
I don't know
way.
why I blanked. Harrison Ford.
Harrison
Dude,
Ford.
I literally last week watched all the Indiana Jones movies. And I don't know why I couldn't think of his name.
It's fire. I did
Other
too.
than the Shia LaBeouf one, but
I did too. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. I was just like, something in me was like, I want to watch Indiana Jones. Like, let me
Harrison Ford. I don't know why we couldn't think about that. I'm a scrub.
Okay, so here's mine. Number one.
I also wouldn't mind the guy from Teen Wolf playing me.
I've never seen Teen Wolf.
It's 10 out of 10 show. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's classic.
Okay, so here's what I got. Number one, Shane Top. Easy. From Smosh. You guys look identical in so many different ways. It's really, really scary. That's my first one.
So is my life a comedy to you? Is that what you're saying?
No. But if I look through the lens of comedy, it could be
a tragedy.
Okay.
Let's see,
Shane Top. I'm telling you, from Smosh, you guys look exactly alike. You guys almost have the same exact build, except he's like uber jacked. You guys both, if you had like blonde hair, like you guys would literally be identical.
I guess I can kind of see it.
Because you both have like the, I don't know, like the almost the squinty looking eyes, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's not off.
Some pictures more than others.
It's not off, bro.
This picture especially, because he's got a mustache.
Yes, dude.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, bro. Shane Top.
They definitely can't see that.
They can't.
We'll put a picture of him up.
I'll put Shane Top and Corey right next to each other. Okay.
I don't know if we're there yet on.
So
by we, I mean you, because you do all the editing.
Yeah. And then my second choice is the guy. What was those books back in the day that you really liked that I thought were like the dumbest, cringiest book on the planet? And it was like a love story of like
The Fault in Our Stars. You're talking about Ansel Elgort.
Yes, dude.
I would be so good with him playing me.
I don't know why in my brain, but I always put you two as like he's just the actor version of you.
I'm telling you, he has it. He has it, man. You know, he's a EDM artist.
Yeah. And I've never seen him play anywhere.
Yeah, I mean neither.
But
I just know that but you know,
that's no shade.
Actors who make money, they can just go do stuff like that. Like Shaq is a DJ.
Yeah, but Shaq is almost a billionaire. So
yeah, he owns Papa John's.
And like 7 million different other concepts.
Yeah,
but
video games and they've got Shaq gummies now. You can eat gummy version of Shaq's head.
Yeah, they have Shaq teas. They had the Shaq video game.
Yeah.
They had him in a movie. What was it? The where he played a genie.
Yeah, I can't think of what it's called. It wasn't very good.
No, but it was awesome.
Shaq. Sorry.
But yeah, so I mean, he's honestly, and not to get too nerdy in this, but he's actually a huge force in electronic music right now. Like on dubstep and all that, he is actually like the guy. It used to be Lil Jon, and now it's
the mantle has passed to
Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. Like he's actually putting on a ton of artists. It's actually really funny to see, but it's also cool. But okay. Who do you think would play me though?
Dude, I don't know why I didn't think of Adam Driver, but that's a good one. Jake Gyllenhaal and Prince of Persia.
Dog, that was hateful. You could have said like any other movie, but like.
But that movie, he had your hair. He had
I guess my hair is my thing. That's the thing.
That's what got me is I was so focused on the hair. I was trying to think of someone because there's that guy from Mr. Robot.
I love him. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So I thought of him, but then it was the hair. And I think it's supposed because y'all both have like that olive skin complexion. But his eyes are really squinty. I mean, yeah, hey, look, man.
Yeah.
I was trying not to focus too much on the...
It's really funny because I'm still olive, but I'm also extremely pale because I don't go outside.
Yeah.
The moment I go outside, I look like an entirely different person.
Yeah.
It's actually insane.
I focused too much on that in the hair. It's really the hair because I was like, okay, well, the guy's got... At the beginning of the movie, he's got to have longer hair.
Okay.
And then he's got to be able to, have the shorter, hair. Adam Driver's a good one.
Yeah, I think Adam
They would
Driver
just have to spray tan him.
and the guy that definitely played Mr. Robot because he's super just...
I couldn't think of his name.
I can't either. I know he's Egyptian.
Yeah.
And he
or
played...
Jake Gyllenhaal from Prince of Persia.
Jake Gyllenhaal's awesome. That's an awesome choice. Thank
But
you.
it has to be the Prince of Persia era because of his hair. But other than that, I could not think of anybody. The first person that came to mind was the guy from Mr. Robot.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's also my favorite show. I love that show.
See?
I wonder why, right?
Either him, that's really it.
Okay. So my question, right? And it's kind of like a two-face. You can look at it as a messy question. You wouldn't understand it. Or the listeners wouldn't understand it unless they live here, which is completely fine. However, it is now August, right?
Yep.
We're 8 months into the year and all that jazz, right? One of the things that I think that I'm learning with all the books I'm reading and yada, 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 right? What is something that you've learned this year at this moment, like halfway through the year, that you would definitely say that 2026 has taught me X?
Ooh, that is a good one. Does school count? Because I've learned a lot in school.
Yeah.
Lots of paramedicine stuff.
But like, every year you learn something different. Like it could be about yourself or about just the world or business or whatever, right? But like, what is something that you would say in 2026, this is the year that I learned this?
I'm trying to think of something like interesting that has nothing to do with like paramedic school.
Okay, I'll tell you mine.
Because most of that's like medicine related. I will say that I learned that you can administer lots of medications through a person's bottom.
Yeah.
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 Worst comes to worst, man, you just,
I have a story about that.
put it in the rectum.
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Or you could just spray it in their nose.
Oh.
Yeah. Really, spray it in their nose.
Yeah, just find an open area.
As long as it gets in you, it'll do its job at some point.
Yeah, that's what.
I also learned that I can eat 8 hot dogs in a day. The other day, I had 4 hot dogs for lunch and 4 for dinner.
The Glizzy Master.
Yeah, I am. I sent y'all pictures of them in the group message.
He did. He sent 4 Glizzies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fully loaded too.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Woo. I ate 4 yesterday for lunch.
Yeah. You
Phenomenal.
You got the king crown of Glizzy.
Yeah.
Glizzy Master.
I mean the Glizzy Goblin. Gandalf of the Glizzies.
I like that. That's really fun. Those are fun things that you've learned about yourself. I've learned that I am the best ever person to read other people. I have 1000% confirmed that I can read people like an absolute book. And I have figured out something with a person in this local city. And I figured out what the first trigger in my head was. Nobody's going to understand this except you. If you sit on any sort of couch or chair and you have both of your feet always tucked in while you talk, that is not a good sign.
Yeah, that's a red flag for sure.
So if you're like sitting here and you're just like, that's a horrific sign.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
But I'm learning that I'm a really good person, or I'm a really good people reader. And I'm learning that as much of a cocky person that I am always right.
Sound like a hater.
I am the ultra hater, and I just need to triple down in being a hater. That's what I've learned.
Yeah,
I've
me
learned
too.
that.
I think we should rename this to the Haters Podcast.
Yeah, I love that.
Bunch of haters.
I love to hate.
I've been told I have a problem. I'm too much of a hater.
I think I've tucked it down so much that.
And then they thought that you weren't a hater.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I said, I'm telling you.
I'm the biggest hater on this planet.
More of a hater than me. And some of the audience thinks otherwise.
But listen, if you want to think of me as like a really chill and loving like teddy bear in your head, that's 1000% fine. But like Corey, no, bro, I am the biggest hater on this planet.
Yeah.
Anything like I can get down to like the way people walk. I hate the way that people breathe. I hate the way that people move their eyes. I'm just like, I can't handle that. I can't handle you. I can't that's really what's been funny is that I'm watching myself on a video camera again and listening to myself. And I'm like, number one, I hate the way that I talk.
It's weird watching yourself.
I didn't realize. Okay, another question. What is something that you've realized about yourself on camera that you just never...
This was pointed out to me that a lot of times when I have my foot like that, I do this. I bounce. I have a little floppy foot.
Okay.
And then I watched the episode and I was like, oh my gosh. I'd sit here and talk and my foot would just...
Yeah.
So I've been trying not to cross my legs.
Oh.
Because it's
I wonder why that bothers people. Mm-hmm. I've learned that I talk through the side of my mouth.
I guess I could see it.
I talk like this, or I don't open my mouth enough. Like when I talk like with my mouth closed, and that drives me insane. And I don't know why. And now I get, as a kid, with my dad telling me to open my mouth when I talk, I guess I've regressed. And I hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm actively trying to figure out
my foot was flopping this whole time.
Yeah, but that's like almost
it's like the movie Happy Foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like an ADHD thing though. Like
yeah.
My mom, when she sits in a chair, she has to like kick something. So on the island downstairs, she'll sit there and just kick. I'm like, dog, stop. Like that's crazy. So, but no, I just wanted to say that I'm a really good people reader and that I'm never wrong. It just takes some time for me to be right. And I really like watching people scramble.
Yeah,
I find all that funny to me personally. However, again, if you're listening to this and have no idea what I'm talking about, you probably will never know what I'm talking about. And that's fine.
Yeah, I understand.
But Corey understands.
I get it.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So
the topic of many discussions privately.
Bro, it's been so
We've talked
awesome.
about it a lot lately.
It has been so awesome. Like, I love it. So anyways, kind of
speaking of awesome. The Spider-Man movie's doing awesome.
Okay. So I'm really curious because I hate Spider-Man. Like every version I've hated. The only one that has gotten me was Tobey Maguire.
Really? A lot of people, I think that's a nostalgia thing.
No,
he was a good Spider-Man, but Tom Holland's the only one who's broken the curse. No Spider-Man before him was able to make it past 3 movies.
Yeah, but that also goes back to Sony though.
Yeah, well, Tom Holland's got it, man.
Because you got to,
and they've said that the ratings and the reviews that I've seen for this movie in particular say that this is the epitome of everything that Spider-Man is.
Well,
my fire chief told me this morning he watched the movie, and it's going to make me cry.
I saw clips, and I was like,
"No spoilers. I'm going today."
No, I'm not. I don't even know what's happening. So
I know.
I haven't seen a Marvel movie in like 10 years.
My son was like, well, Daddy, who's the bad guy? And I'm like, it looks like the Hulk. And he's like, silly Hulk's not a bad guy. And I'm like, we're going to find out today.
What does Doctor Strange say about that?
Yeah. And so, but everything I've seen online, the movie's phenomenal.
I love the clips.
This weekend, I could not get I couldn't get tickets. So we're going today after this, actually.
Yeah.
So next episode, I'll have my review.
Okay. Awesome.
But Spider-Man did break Endgame's box office opening record. So I don't know if I think that makes it the highest grossing box office weekend opener of all time now, I think. Because I think Endgame had the record. I can tell you.
I don't think it beats Star Wars. I'm trying to think of the number 1 movie. The number 1 movie was Star Wars, I thought. There's no way that it broke. I guess in today's inflation.
The highest grossing opening weekend of all time is Spider-Man at $360.1 million, followed by Avengers Endgame at $357 million, followed by Spider-Man No Way Home at $260. So
of all time?
Of all time.
Of all movies.
Of all movies. And then after Spider-Man No Way Home is Avengers Infinity War. And then followed by that is Star Wars The Force Awakens.
That doesn't sound right.
And
There's
if you
no
go
way.
by world records, Endgame still has it right now, followed by Spider-Man, then Avengers Infinity War, and Spider-Man No Way Home. And it says it is adjusted for inflation.
You know, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. Because like, there's no, I can see a Marvel movie, but I'm trying to remember what it was. It was Star Wars. I think it was Revenge of the Sith. It was the third one of the saga.
Revenge of the Sith.
I thought that was one of the biggest movies of all time.
The Titanic was for a long time.
Titanic, that was another one.
But they got beat out. And it actually got beat out, I think, by Demon Slayer too.
Mm-hmm.
The Demon Slayer movie did numbers. I know you love to hear that.
I'm actually hearing that it's actually horrific.
I rewatched it for the 5th time the other day. Top tier. 10 out of 10.
No, the new one that just dropped, the new Demon Slayer dropped. It's actually really bad. Like, there's a lot of people pissed off about it.
You sure it's Demon Slayer?
Yes.
I don't think the movie's...
Yes.
I think it just started production.
No, it came
Demon
out.
Slayer 2?
Bro, I'm telling you, something with Demon Slayer dropped and people got really pissed off about it. Because I saw videos and articles about it and I'm just like, I'm going to keep that in the tuck.
It just came back out on... It just dropped on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, and people hate it.
Man, people are going to find anything to complain about.
I mean, I guess, but...
People are mad online because they think that they removed scenes out of the Demon Slayer movie when they put it on Crunchyroll.
Oh.
I've seen a lot of people arguing about that. Neither here nor there.
No Way Home. So I don't know anything about Spider-Man, but I just know that the clips look sick. I like that the Punisher's in it.
I do, and
That Tom Holland and Berthal, that combo is like deadly.
he is the best Punisher by far.
Yeah.
He was made to be this era's Punisher, and I love that he's in it. Oh man, he's a dope Punisher.
I love that my mom met him and had no idea who he was and just brushed him
And
off.
he is such a genuine person in real life.
Yeah.
Other than he doesn't believe in napping,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Because me,
Yeah, but he probably wakes up at like 5 a.m. though.
oh yeah, and like works out and runs 10 miles, and then films for the day, and then does.
Yeah, and goes
he's
to
crazy.
bed at like 8 o'clock or 9. Like
He's
a
got
normal.
He's got some great movies outside of the Punisher too,
True.
like The Fury.
Yeah.
Dude, that movie is a classic. The Accountant.
The Accountant. Well, The Accountant 1 or 2.
I enjoyed 2. I think I enjoyed 2 more than I enjoyed 1. But I went into Accountant 1 with, I don't like Ben Affleck. Yeah, no, I'm such a hater. I'm going to hear it from somebody. Wow, dude, you don't like Ben Affleck?
You don't
Why?
like Ben
Because he's
Affleck?
taller than you or richer than you? Yeah. I don't care about that.
Bro, Ben Affleck is
Terrible
awesome.
Batman. Worst Batman of all time.
I mean, I can
Easily.
kind of agree with you, but
Yeah, you're either all in or all out.
I do have a question for you on when we actually do a Patreon episode about Batman. There's been questions building up about Batman,
Okay.
and I need to know your opinion on it because
all right.
I don't know. I like Batman, but I've never thought about it.
I read a lot of the comics, so I know a lot about the superheroes.
We just can't have the conversation on YouTube.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, I think Spider-Man looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to
I
see
kind of
it.
had this weird thing that is like the movies back. Like if you go back and look at the movies for like the last year or so,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the movies are coming back. Like they're getting people back in the.
For a while there, it seemed like everything was just coming to streaming.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing to do. It's like, hey, we'll just put it on streaming and you can pay $20 to watch it at home. But I feel like now, especially with the Odyssey and Spider-Man out.
We'll go back further. Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big deal, and that got people back in the theaters.
Yeah.
The Obsession movie is getting people back in.
I watched that, by the way.
How did you like it?
It was good. It wasn't like it was a different kind of horror. It was, more psychological than anything. And I think that we need to have a segment breaking down horror movies too, because I was asked yesterday what kind of horror movies scare me, because that's all I ever watch. And of course, they don't really, Oh my gosh, which reminds me, I have a video game to talk about. Real quick, we got to talk after this. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but I liked it. Obsession was good. I think that the guy that made it did a very good job. I think the pacing was good, and it was a psychological, dreadful kind of terror.
Yep.
I definitely think that Bear was the bad guy.
Oh, 100%.
The more I watched it, the more I felt bad. Because at first I thought that, if you haven't watched it, spoilers, sorry. I mean, it's 2026, watch movies. Sorry. For the longest time, I thought that Nikki had just changed. And then there's a scene where, she's sleeping and she's like, that's not Nikki. But then Bear gets mad. Like, what's wrong with being with me? It's like, bro, you just wished for her to be obsessed with you, and now she's cooking cats and killing people, and pooping herself, and she's like possessed by this this thing. And then I saw a theory that Nikki wasn't just possessed. There was actually 3 entities in her body. There was the one Wish Willow that was doing all the crazy stuff. There was one where she wasn't so bad, and then there was Nikki that only came out when she was sleeping. But I think the movie was good. I don't think it was the greatest horror movie of all time. But
no, I think
great. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I would give it an 8 because just to me, it was like the first movie I've watched that felt fresh.
Yes, I will say it was refreshing. It was different.
It was different. It was like it was about the small details rather than the slasher or the possession of like.
And I'm not big on possession films. It's just
The Exorcist and all those
cookie
films.
cutter, run of the mill.
They're
making a number 2.
What?
Obsession.
Yeah. Well, so I'm a huge fan of them. That it's a comedy duo. So it's Curry Baker and Cooper.
Yeah, that's his name.
And he's the guy that played the best friend.
Yeah, he played Ian or whatever. Yeah. I think that was his name. I don't remember. But yeah, I think he did a good job in the movie.
So they're a comedy duo, but all of their comedy is the exact same thing. It's about the small details rather than
I will say that I've been seeing more of them on TikTok, and I'm starting to appreciate them more.
Yeah, I know everyone will like them. That's what's really funny to me
I think it's their dynamic.
They have the funniest dynamic.
They have. I've been watching them do like interviews with people, or like people see them out in the street and they're like, "Hey, for $1, can you make me laugh?" And Curry Baker was like, "How about you make me laugh? And we'll give you $1 if you can make me laugh." And the guy's like, "Oh, what a Uno reverse, But their dynamic is, I think there. Yeah, I still need to watch Backrooms, but
Backrooms is great. That to me, like as a film. And I'm not a cinema guy or like whatever, but that movie, I want to rewatch it. Like I want to watch that. I know I will watch that movie within like the end of this month 5 more times. It's that amazing. Like
I know I need to.
But no, I just felt like so. My view of it is that, and it makes it a lot more eerie. Is that Nikki was never actually possessed by anything. All that happened was that her humanity was just completely wiped out. And so it was such a slow process that it didn't fully take hold until she started to kill people. Like that's when she
spiraled towards the end.
That's
the
when
further it went on.
Yeah, it was like her humanity was slipping away.
No, don't do that.
We're having a good time.
I'd have been gone, man. I'd have dipped.
Dude,
like, if you love me, you'll leave.
Bro, even like the small part to me that showed that like was the actual scene. Like because a lot of people probably didn't pay attention. If you look at her face, it's just completely blank, but she's saying all the words of like, yeah. But in her, I was like, bro, that is so dark.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the whole movie was pretty twisted.
But I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you went.
And speaking of horror stuff.
Okay.
You know what game's getting a sequel? Alien Isolation.
I thought I heard about that, but yeah, tell me about it.
It's coming out next year.
Okay.
And I don't want to play it,
but
I'm going to.
Yeah, you should stream it.
I might actually, because that game is, and I was telling someone this the other day that if they've never played, they should try it. And they're like, well, what makes it so scared? I'm like, dude, the AI adapts to your play style. And then, you know, the slightest noise attracts it. And it's not one of those games where you can defeat him, the xenomorph, or stop him. You just have to hide and they're like, what do you do for the game? Like, I don't know what the point of the game is other than hiding. Because you're not going to get that far. You just got to hide and hope that it doesn't get you. And it's you cut a corner and that sucker's hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Pooped your pants.
The other one that now that you said that kind of reminded me was the Resident 2 remake with the what is it? Was it? I want to say Professor X.
That's what I wanted to say too, but I know that's not it.
But the giant dude that walks around and follows you.
And all you can do is slow him down.
Yeah. You can never kill him. You can never do anything. He's just following you around the whole time. Game. I was like, that's such an Alien Isolation thing. Yep. But I just tell people, you have to experience it. I could tell you, right, that you're getting chased, right? But that doesn't feel...
It's different than playing Alien Isolation in the dark was...
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying because the xenomorph adapts. Every time you think you got him, the AI that they use is terrifying. It adapts to you, the noises you make, your play style. You know, to access your map, when you use your map, it blips, beep, you know, beep, and it attracts it. So now you're like, gosh, I need to see where I'm going, but I can't look for long because you have no idea where it is.
Yeah.
And then
I always thought it was close.
Pooped your pants.
I always thought it was more... I was more scared when you just saw it kept getting closer. You could never see it, but you could just hear it getting closer and closer. And you're just watching it on your radar and you're like, oh my God, it's here.
I gotta hide.
I can't see it. I don't know where it's at, but it's here. Like that, That game's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're gonna make it tremendously worse. But yeah, I think it's slated to release in 2027. So
that's
I will stream it.
Yeah. We might have to set up a streaming thing just so you can...
My streaming name will be The Cult of Corey. Yeah.
Okay.
I just started playing StarCraft. My username is Captain Cryptid. Because I got that Bigfoot in me. Oh. That dog. That big dog. That chupacabra dog.
That dog in you.
Yeah. I also couldn't think of anything else to name my character, so...
That tracks.
Yeah.
So... I did have a fun little story that I read online, which I thought was kind of funny. So there is can't remember exactly the state, which is not the greatest way to start a story. However, there is a state in this amazing country that was thinking about opting to having an AI teacher, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like just an AI teacher of like a computer screen or like one of those screens that like, you know, move or whatever. They were going to put one of those AI bots as the teacher, right? And it has all the flesh and it looks like a person and
it's freaky.
All that, right? Well, the reason that they're not doing it is because they found out that the same manufacturer also makes bots.
Yeah. I don't think we can have that in the schools.
Yeah, so they pulled the plug on...
Probably for the best.
Yeah, on that. So I guess the fun question to ask is, well, I can... You know what the other thing I thought about on my drive home? The funniest thing. I can't ask you what would you do questions because of the fact that you actually have a son. So there's some questions that I can't ask. I'm like, bro, he actually has a kid. Like I can't just like ask that. That's crazy. However... Would you, starting with you, ever go to a class where you had an AI teacher or an AI bot teacher or a bot or whatever?
Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. AI is freaky. I think I'd rather a person. Obviously, the AI would probably be, you know, cleaner in its techniques because it's a robot. But at the same time, you can't teach emotion and compassion like an instructor could, you know?
Yeah.
No. I think
Okay.
I'm going to opt out. Pass.
Okay. Could you ever
Thumbs down
envision
emoji.
your son going to a class with an AI
I hope
bot?
not, because nah. I'd probably be like, let's find you another class, buddy.
Okay.
Because if you teach or you're a daycare teacher, I think you need to have some kind of compassion for kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but that's different. Daycare and all that. I
Yeah.
could never, honestly, I could never see not a human involved in that
Yeah.
process. But I meant more of like elementary school, like middle school, high school.
I don't
like
know.
That
I
kinda-
still remember, like, there are still teachers from, you know, when I was in middle school and high school that stuck out to me because of their, you know, teaching style or maybe, you know, their personality. You know, a robot can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like your teacher couldn't hit you up on a dating site
yeah.
when you're an adult. That's happened to me twice already, but yeah. you know,
Heck yeah.
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
So you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, I think that's the funniest thing, and I know we've talked about it before, but I still can't fathom growing up, right, and being an adult, and then now learning all like the like knowing teachers from like an innocent stage to like now as an adult and seeing people you know as teachers, like,
Yeah, it is weird.
bro,
I'm like, dude, you didn't even get straight A's in school. Now you're teaching people?
can't say something. It's just finding out things about people that is
Yeah.
really funny. Of like, bro, you used to go clubbing like
Yeah.
all weekend long, like
Every weekend.
every weekend.
Sometimes on random Tuesdays.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now you're in charge of 30 to 50 to 80
The next
kids.
generations. That's scary. We're doomed.
Yeah. So, yeah, not to get too deep and dark and whatever, but
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was really funny that
Yeah.
the school never was like, what other bots do you make? Like, oh, that's a real human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to come to the other side of our department?
Yeah.
So, but we were talking about something that kind of just appeared in your lap, like out of nowhere, right? So I didn't know how much you wanted to talk about it or just like the idea of it or whatever. Cause like we were also talking about rich people and
Man,
like
I wish I
Elon
was rich.
Musk and all that stuff. Yeah. So I did learn that, and this is a fun fact for people if you don't know, is that, do you know the one asset that people buy, regardless of what is happening in the world, that will always hold its value? And it has been around for centuries.
Land?
Nope.
I don't know. I thought that was a good guess.
Art.
Yeah.
It has been happening for centuries where people buy art and the art value doesn't really drop.
Like the art that we have now
Yeah, that's back here
That we
that
can't
I
see.
lazily did not put up, but
that we're blocking.
yeah. So we have art pieces. This room is like finally coming together, but
It'll be up next episode.
yeah,
We'll
for
get
sure.
it situated.
Totally, yeah. But yeah, so rich people buy
Mm-hmm.
art because it holds its value, and then that value you can always sell. So
Yeah.
it's almost like a piece of asset that you
Mm-hmm.
can always have that's physical that you could turn around and sell
Yeah.
and get that same value back.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see that. I understand that.
Yeah. So the next thing that I learned is that when you were talking about Elon Musk borrowing money and all that stuff, that's actually the number one way that like mega companies build their wealth is that they never really spend their own. It's about who can give them the money to do whatever they want with it. And you can do that in a number of different ways. So the most fascinating one to me is that there is a Canadian billionaire that wanted to build a skyscraper in the middle of Toronto. And what he did was he actually financed the entire thing on his credit card. And I
Yep.
was like, that is so smart. And the reason why was because the rates he would get on his credit card is actually a lot cheaper than getting some sort of loan or going out to get investment partners. That he could go in and just use his credit card and just pay that percentage for interest and it'd be
Yeah.
cheaper than. And I was like, that is so smart. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what article I was on the other day when they said that Elon Musk and other people borrow against their assets and stuff all the time, or especially their stocks.
Yeah.
To use that money. That's not actually physical money. It's just their assets and what they use to borrow against it.
You can get a life insurance policy. Like any normal person can get a life insurance policy and actually borrow that back onto themselves if they need it. There's a lot of different...
I might look into life insurance policies after this. Well, I have one, but I need a big one, like a couple mil.
Yeah, you got to pay into it.
Yeah.
But, so there's like a lot of different ways that, you know, and coming from like the tech space and all that stuff, it's actually a lot more common than people think. Is like they'll go out and go ship around whatever, and they'll get, you know, $100,000 from random partners of, you know, for an investment, for an idea or a startup that may not even be around in 2 years, but they go through. The interesting thing though is, and this is also a marketing thing for people if they care. If you ever see a company go out and say that they went and they did a investment run or, you know, a financial run, whatever, to gain capital, and they ever say an X amount, some of that money isn't actually money. What it is that they get. So the biggest one to use as an example is people will say, we got an Amazon invested, you know, $200,000 into our company and whatever. It's actually not $200,000. It's actually $200,000 to use their services for a credit.
Okay.
So you didn't really make money, but you got $200,000 in credit. So if you ever see a company, it's very, or more so, normal that it's actually not the actual money. Yeah. Because anybody can say we went and got a raise of, you know, $5 million. Realistically, in that $5 million, only $1 million or less is actually actual capital. The rest of it is credits or whatever.
Just the business world for you.
Business. But those are just some things that kind of go on that a lot of people don't realize. Is like there are people that literally give money, or there, let me rephrase that. There are people that can get money to use other people's money for their idea.
Yeah, that's what I need to learn how to do, is use other people's money. That's a good idea. I like that.
If you learn how to do startups and you learn how to do pitch decks and you learn like what, you know, investors or angel investors or, you know, whatever, that's the way to do it. It's just learning how to pitch it. Yeah. I think I learned that actually from my really good friend when he went and did raises. Like he would say that like at least 90% of the thing to win people over is metrics, and the last 10 is a pitch deck. And the pitch deck is what you can use all of your metrics to win people over. So, but yeah.
Some food for thought.
Just a little food
for thought. Our aspiring businessmen, businesswomen.
Business people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
2026, get with the program.
Business personnel.
But yeah, so I would definitely say that if you have a business idea, you know, the logistics part of it would definitely be like, what is the target audience, right? Like, or the target demo. And then the next question would be, okay, what is the actual purpose of this business? Is the business to be a place to do X, Y, and Z? Is it to grow potential people out of this, to make money off of those people? Yeah. Almost an inverse investment that you're giving people the time or whatever to get X, Y, Z back. Is it to use that spot as an advertisement or a sponsorship? Is it to get advertisement and sponsorships? Like there's just a number of different ways. But if the thing that I think is the best indicator for people, if they know what they're doing or not, is like, what are you actually doing? Yeah. Like that's the biggest thing, is that if you don't know what you're doing, everything else behind it doesn't matter. There's no clear goal. There's no whatever, right? Like, that's why the people that we talk about that I have a lot of fun talking about is because of the fact that there's no clear direction. And it's like, if you don't have clear direction, then there's no way that you're going to be so behind the 8 ball trying to figure things out that you're not going to make any money and you're going to go down in flames. And that's why it's like, you really want to have your clear goal of like, even if it's 3 things, those 3 things are great, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Even with a business or a restaurant or whatever, right? Great food, great environment, and great service.
Yeah.
Those 3 things are 3 goals that anyone can accomplish, but those all take time to figure out what it is, you know? So,
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So sometimes when you get investment opportunities, it's either how do I benefit out of this? What skill sets do I have to actually enhance this product? Or is this something that can get me to another level?
Yeah.
Right. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. That may make sense.
Yeah. That can help guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. Especially for my cult.
Yeah. Cults are the same thing as a business.
Yeah. I mean, really and truly.
I'm not going to lie. I learned more about businesses working through churches than I did in actual business.
Yeah, I can also believe that.
Because it's actually really funny that they identically run 1-to-1. The only difference is that people aren't paying for a physical product or a product at all. It's all donations. Yeah. But how do you get people to give you a donation? That's the sell of a church. So
I need to learn how to get donations too. I got a lot of
sorry to go on my little business rant, but you can do it with practically anything. It's in music. It's just
a triangle pyramid scheme, really.
That's it. A triangle pyramid scheme. So, so I know you wanted to talk about some aura. Aura farming.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of the characters from fiction that have that are the best at it. People that have just
okay.
And one of the people that always comes to mind is Escanor.
Okay.
Dude. King of aura. That dude right there, man. He's also one of the best characters ever.
I mean, he's all right. I wouldn't say he's the most. I think if we're being honest, the most is probably like
Gojo.
Should we do real aura first and then anime?
Yeah, we'll just mix them in there.
Okay, we'll do. Yeah, I don't want to lose everybody.
Yeah,
because this is gonna go down some rabbit holes. So I think if we're doing anime, to me, I think Itachi. Aizen
definitely is up there.
This new episode has solidified for me Urahara.
Yeah.
From Bleach. Yoroichi.
Yeah, that's a different kind of aura. That's that Gooner's aura.
I don't know if you saw this, but there's actually been another divorce because of...
Really?
Yes. It was a married couple on YouTube that watch anime, which is actually really illegal, but whatever. And they were watching it together, and they said that they got a divorce, and the channel was ending because the guy kept going back and rewatching it.
Let the man goon, I guess. You know, Gooner's gonna goon.
Madara, that's a good one.
Yeah, that dude had some.
I think Gojo did until not Maharaga. What's his name?
Sukuna?
Sukuna.
Yeah.
Sukuna robbed Gojo.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, the more that you go on in the manga, it literally, he just shows up and he's just like...
The man. Yeah.
You go sit down.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I think really, to me, I think Maki, or not Maki.
What about Death the Kid and Black Star?
Nah.
No aura?
No. No, they have aura, but not like on that level. Like not even close. Like not.
Kakashi. Kakashi was one of the original Warrior Kings.
Yeah, but then Itachi showed up and was just like, yeah.
It's hard to compete with a character like Itachi, though, who is probably hands down one of the best anime characters of all time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, it's real hard to compete with Itachi.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like majority of anime is designed of all these characters to have their own aura. Like, that's literally the point of it. But also, side topic, I loved how the last episode we talked about, or I think it was on the Patreon actually, was when we talked about animes being for like young people.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why are they always for young people and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, how characters are always young. Itachi was 13 and it was the leader of the Ambu Black Ops.
I'm not even kidding you. There has been so many conversations like a week after that had happened. I was like, bro, like, how is everybody on the same wavelength? Like,
yeah. Like, how is this dude 12 and he's fighting interdimensional beings?
Yeah, there was like some conversations.
Ichigo's 15 right now fighting Yabaha, however you say his name.
Yabaha.
Which is weird because it's spelled so weird.
It was really funny because Kubo, they were asking him, like, you know, why did you make all of the Striner, why did you make them all German?
All of them,
and
every
he
single one of
said,
them.
well, they're not German, but everything around German just sounds really evil. So I just went with, I was like, dude, that is so funny. That is so funny. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of true. It does just sound evil.
Yeah.
Like, just
the Stern Ritters.
Yeah.
Still doesn't have as much aura as the Espada.
Dog, dude.
Talk about aura farming.
Bro.
That whole team.
Okay, so I am 20 episodes away from my finish of Bleach. And I have to say that, and if I ever got to meet Kubo, I only have one question. And one question only. And it's solidified after the movie. Like, a lot of the things from the movie are really funny to watch. And also, the movie finally dropped. So if you all want to see Urahara use his Bankai, it literally is just magnificent. Magnificent.
I have it saved on TikTok.
It's oh my God. It's amazing. No, the Visored. Why are they so nerfed? That is the one question I would love to know, because even in the ending of the what is that called? That arc where they go and get Orihime. That whatever that arc is called.
When they rescue him from Hyukomundo?
Yeah. Right. They all suck.
Yeah, or when they fight the Soul Reapers, fight the Espada in the fake Karakura town arc.
Yeah. The ending of that. That's where I'm at.
And all of them are supposed to be like captain. They're all captain level.
They're all captains and they all suck.
Yeah, they're all captain levels and they're enhanced because of their mask.
Correct. Then you get to the movie.
Than,
have you seen the movie?
What's his name? No.
Okay. It's even worse.
Really?
I'm not even kidding you. It literally was so aura farming with the way that they're all posed in their Soul Reaper outfits. They look
and I love all their characters. They're great.
Dude, they look so dope.
What's his name with the slash haircut? Shinji.
And
his
He's
Bankai.
Awesome. Yeah.
And, and on paper, his Bankai should be
broken.
But
his character is also the opposite of it because he talks too much.
Yeah.
So that's what's really funny is that, like, he is supposed to be the most broken character. However, he talks so much that it's actually useless. But it's actually really funny that and I also got the Bleach game. I'm bleached out right now. Like, I'm bleached hard.
You haven't been drinking it, have you?
So, what I really didn't realize, like rewatching it all, dude, Shinji Urahara basically little broed Aizen the whole time. They just little broed him. Like, he had the hardest quote ever. So they were talking and all that stuff. So Shinji is walking away. It was right when Urahara became captain or whatever. So they're talking, blah, 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 blah. So then he walks away. And then he just is walking out of the whatever the thing is, and he just pulls his hand out and he pulls this whole magic sheet that Aizen had put up. And he's like, "How did you know I was here, Captain?" And he's like, "I've known about you since the moment you were born." I was like, "Bro, that is so hard." And then just, again, watching them get nerfed.
That's the quote for the show. That's the title. I've known about you since you were born.
That'd be hard.
That's it. That's it.
I got to make that fit. But yeah, to me, the Visoreds were so aura farmed.
Yeah.
Even in the movie, they were so aura farmed, and then they got put down in less than,
I believe it 100%.
I'm not even kidding you. They had 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And they just got
dog walked, yep. Every time.
I'm like, wow. I would love to know why they got nerfed.
I am glad, though, we get to see Grimjow reanimated.
It was so hard. When he showed up on that movie screen, bro, I was like...
Dude, when he showed up originally, I was like, okay, this is fantastic. You know, he's like, I'm only, you know.
Yeah. But I saw him on the screen. I was just like... It was just like, wait, I got to see a Bonkai and Grimjaw's back?
Yeah, because Your Horror's Bonkai's broken the internet.
Dude, I was just... all right.
Before next episode, I'll watch it, and then I'll give you my Bleach review and my Spider-Man review next episode.
Okay.
Who would be some people in real life that aura farm?
The first one to me is Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I could see that. Especially his when he went viral for that little thing, and I don't remember what movie that was.
You know what movie that was?
I don't remember what movie it was.
It has the greatest actor of all time in it. Mission Impossible.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I didn't watch it.
Oh, I mean, if you knew
Tom Cruise, who names their kid after a vacation on a boat?
A winner.
I don't know about winner. He's like
An
5'2".
absolute winner.
He believed in a flying spaghetti monster.
That's all right. Hey, sometimes you got to be weird to be awesome.
Join my cult. We don't believe in spaghetti monsters.
Yeah.
Hot dog monsters instead.
We believe choking down on some glizzies.
We're gobbling the glizzies.
Deep throat and all.
You know who's got a lot of aura? Guy Fieri. Welcome to Flavor Town.
Have you seen him without blonde hair?
No, I don't want to. It's going to ruin my image of him.
It literally doesn't look like the same person. And he's uber fat.
Gordon Ramsay's got a lot of aura. It's evil aura, but it's aura.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jay-Z, he's got some aura, bro.
Yeah.
Like final boss energy. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You can't even get around them. Just almost like the spiritual or the hockey where it's just like, oh.
I hate to say it, but Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. Massive aura. Massive.
I was actually eating dinner with my family during the World Cup, and Ronaldo's a common name. Everyone typically knows of Ronaldo. And, he came on the screen, of course, and I was like, that's like the richest athlete of all time. And they're like, how much does he get paid? And I was like, a lot. I mean, an unholy amount of money, even compared to the NBA and NFL. I was like, Ronaldo makes a lot of money.
Ronaldo is a billionaire.
Yeah.
He's
a quadrillionaire probably.
He's out of here.
He's got, it's crazy though, too, seeing how big football is.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the world outside of America.
Yes.
It's mostly our team.
That's.
I'm gonna wear my Team USA jersey next episode.
You should. I'll wear the thing that I just got, and we can be pro US soccer. Yeah. They just signed Pochettino for 4 years.
Maybe they'll win some more games.
Yeah. No.
But all these other places, all these other countries aren't worried about basketball and football and
They are, but not
on the level that soccer is. It is
no.
insane.
I was listening to my favorite show of all time. It's the Joe Budden podcast. And
the Joe Biden podcast?
No.
I didn't even know he had a podcast.
But they were talking about, the 20 most face card people on the planet. Like they can walk around anywhere and just right.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
And so they were talking. And so one of the hosts was saying soccer players. He's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm just like, that is such an American thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
100%.
If you saw Messi or Ronaldo, bro, like you just.
Instantly.
I'm like, that they go around the world. It's not just the U.S. It's the world. They
internationally
step foot on one street, riot, absolute riot. But so Henry Cavill, Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf got an aura to him, but he forms negative aura.
But that's like chaotic aura, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's very chaotic. It's just, I was gonna say, I just had it and I lost it.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
He was the guy who played Ken in Barbie. He was in the Notebook.
Oh yeah, he's
the next Ghost Rider. Yeah, that dude's got some aura.
Yeah, he's
got a face card on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his is like a nonchalant though.
Ah, dude, everyone loves him though.
Yeah.
He's got some great movies.
I'm like thinking, because I'm not trying to think of like fame. I'm trying to think of like someone. Denzel Washington would be one too.
Benson Boone.
Who's that?
Dude, what? He's the guy that sings Beautiful Things. He's always doing backflips on stage.
I don't know who that is.
Uncultured.
Is it a white dude?
Yeah. He's got like a little modern day mullet and a mustache.
Oh, that's probably why. Anyone with a mullet and a mustache, I immediately don't listen to. I immediately just let me cut that off. Sorry.
You see what I'm growing?
Yeah, it's like a mohawk. It looks nice, by the way. I didn't tell you. I liked your haircut.
It's
I was trying to envision.
It was a lot longer before. Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to envision you with long hair, and I just couldn't do it mentally. Bro, get him out of my face.
Aura.
Aura-ing
You know
what?
who carries a lot of aura around?
Glizzy aura.
I'm the aura king. Through heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Can we upload the clip of Kalen doing this? Right there? I'll speak over him with the Gojo quote.
Yeah, totally. That's
Good
definitely
day.
going to happen.
He called me yesterday. I need to call him back.
Oh.
I don't know what it was for. I was at work.
Oh.
Yeah. I wasn't doing anything. I was eating hot dogs.
Yeah.
Loaded with pickle relish.
Maybe that's the name of this title, or title of the show is I Am the True Glizzy King.
No one's going to watch it.
Dog. Ollie Sykes for sure has an aura. Singer of Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, dude. You know who?
He's on a run, too.
You know who aura farms in like in a terrible way? Conor McGregor. Oh, I don't know why I didn't think about that.
That's a good one.
I'll give it to him. He's an aura farmer.
Got aura. What is it that gives aura, though? I've never really thought about that from the angle of like who has it, right? But what is it? Like it's
that's
just
a good question.
Like what is it?
We might have to do some research and break that down too.
Yeah,
because it's a concept that everyone knows and can use, but then when you think about it, what do they mean?
Yeah,
you know.
Welcome to this episode of NPR. In today's lesson,
we're gonna break down aura.
We're gonna break down aura and how they farm it. Thank you for listening.
With a tractor. You farm using a tractor.
That's how I know I'm way too much in the podcast. It's just, hey, good afternoon. Have you heard the wind today? It's quite hot out today.
Do some ASMR videos. We can't do that because YouTube is on a spree right now. They're removing a lot of ASMR channels on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because they say that they break, policies.
Yeah,
for being too, provocative.
Provocative. You can say sexual. All this stuff is going to get edited, so it's going to be. Yeah. It's going to say. It's going to be beep 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 beep.
Like when you said that you're a French fry whore.
Yeah. Beep.
Dude, it was just beep beep beep. I said, hey, he was right.
Yeah, I just uploaded like 100 words that shouldn't be said, and it just edits for me. I'm like, yeah, that's where AI went.
Oh, speaking of Bleach.
Yeah.
Shout out Bleach. Colton for letting me use their shirt for the podcast.
Yeah, we had some things come up.
Yeah.
So we had to make some changes. Changes. Change.
That's a good song.
That is a good song.
We need to do a segment on the best anime intros and outros. We'll say that for another day, of course.
Yeah. I'd have to brush up
Yeah. Are we able to like plug songs into the podcast?
Absolutely not. Okay. We could, right? Like
that's a lot of work.
Could.
Yeah.
However, we would get copyright. We get hit by copyright.
Are we able to,
hard,
bring people's pictures up right here? Just.
We could, right? Like we literally could. But
that's
then
further down the road thing.
That's like if we could get an editor, right? Yeah. Like, and like someone that I actually trusted.
Yeah.
Because anybody can edit, but it's like you gotta.
If anyone in the cult edits, hit me up.
But you have to be good, and they can't be just TikTok or CapCut edits.
Oh yeah, those don't count.
Yeah, I need like an editor.
CapCut like does the edit for you.
Yeah. No, but if we could get like one of these like young TikTok editors,
yeah,
we'd pop off
like Curry Baker.
Crazy. No, like the ones where they do these mashups of people and these edit like LeBron James.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Crazy. Nah, like that would be awesome. So that is a good question also. I have so many questions. I would love to just do an episode where I just ask questions. Like 10 minutes of me asking questions. Yeah. Never answer a single one of them, but just like
asking
questions.
Them. We'll let the audience answer them.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm putting the work on you. You answer my questions. Yep. This is my investigation.
We'll call it the it'll be a Q&A segment. Q&Q, questions and questions.
Or is it AMA except you answer my questions?
Yeah.
Let's see. Outside of that, I mean, it's honestly kind of been dead in the news lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this last week's been pretty
eventful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the word.
Outside of local
just like
things,
we couldn't think of Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Probably one of the most iconic actors.
Yeah,
Henry Ford
we're gonna get flagged for that. But yeah. I already told people that I can't remember names, so I already have a pass.
Yeah.
For you,
I failed bad. Failed. Yeah. I don't know why. I literally last week rewatched it.
It's like Henry Ford. That doesn't sound right. That's the guy that made Ford. So, I don't really have anything else. I don't think there's any other breaking news. You know, we're trying to be more mass appealing friendly.
Yeah, a good 50-50 split I think would be good.
We're trying not to nerd out too hard. Yeah. You know?
We're still going to nerd out.
We will.
Just not as much.
Yeah. We just don't want to put it,
Put in the comments what you would like to see. Help us help you. Help us.
I just had a real-time filter. I was like, I can't say we don't want to put it down your throat, but especially after having all these glizzy talks. So,
I'm starting to get hungry.
Maybe that's the name of it.
I'm starting to get hungry.
I'm really racking my brain. I don't really think we have anything else.
No, I will say that an unexpected idea was dropped in my lap. So the guy that was cutting my hair, and you are very business savvy, so you'd be a good person to talk to this about in real life. So he was cutting my hair. We trained together for years. He to this day still calls me Coach Corey out of respect. Great guy all around. Black belt in karate.
I don't like the way you did that. Right when you said that. No, that wasn't what. No, you went.
This dude's got glizzies on the mind. BBL glizzy.
That's the name of it. Glizzy on my mind.
And but great guy. So he's cutting my hair. We're just talking, catching up. Haven't seen him in a while. Trained together for years, and he said, "Man, he recently just got his own studio to cut hair. So now he's just doing his own thing, which is great. If y'all need a haircut, hit me up. I know a guy. He's a great guy.
Or they can pay for ad space right here.
That actually isn't a bad idea.
And
so,
or put your ad right here. I'm trying to do. We have a grid right here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right in the middle. Right there. Right here. And he said, "Man, now that I got my own spot to do my own thing cutting hair," he's like, "a thing that I've been thinking about the most is getting a couple of the guys, that we trained with, and opening up our own spot."
Okay.
That was one of my. When I first got into coaching wrestling, the team wasn't mine, and then for a short time I took it over and I learned a lot. It's especially at a young age because I was young. That was 2015, 2016 when I started, moving into coaching more. And, I've helped out some of the high school teams and stuff around here. And I've been coaching. I was coaching the wrestling at my MMA gym for years. And, I've gotten that itch to compete again, which is another thing. I've been slowly transitioning back into training. I'm going to start doing more grappling matches, jiu-jitsu tournaments, stuff like that. But the more I've been thinking about it today, the more I would love to find like a small space, put some mats down, and turn it into a gym that way I could go back to coaching on my own schedule now, and have a couple other guys to teach stuff like boxing and jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and stuff like that. Man, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, I can get behind this. I don't know though. Well, it's a big risk too.
Yeah, but sometimes big risks are, you kind of, and this is something that I've really been thinking about a lot. Like when we talk about the whole anime thing, right, where we talk about like the teen years, right, or kind of like the golden years or whatever, the same kind of thing actually happens in society, but it's around 20. Like I did not realize how important 20s are to like go out and experiment and like, figure things out and mess up and whatever, right? So I think the thing is that with any sort of like investments or anything in business, right? Like there's never a surefire thing that's going to hit, right? Like even with like the show that we're doing now, I think roughly I've invested just in the physical side of things. Like I've invested around $7,000. And I think
I don't even have $7,000 to my name right now.
But, it's just one of those things that, where the investment kind of comes from is like, number one, like, do you connect with it? Right. So,
which for us, for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, if you invest in something, there has to be a connection. Right. And then if it doesn't connect to you, then the next segment or the way that my brain works, it's like the next. So if we're not, it's like a flow chart, right? Yeah. So it's like the yes, no kind of deal. Like if it's not this, then what's the next thing below it? So the next thing would be, okay, so the appeal of it, right? Yeah. The appeal of the product is like, okay, if I think about outside of myself and my own narcissistic things, right? Or things that I enjoy, right? Like what would appeal somebody else to now invest into this product? And that would be the thing that I would go through with any investment things of if it's just a spot to do things, like why not? Like I've thought about getting a studio downtown to do all of this stuff, right? But it's like, well, maybe we're just not at that point yet. Maybe we need to get more things kind of like settled to do something like that, right? Yeah. The other thing that I will say, just from my experience as well, from the music side, is that when you start working with groups of people, it's really, really hard.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
You all have to be in such sync that you all have to kind of be on the same wavelength. Yeah. Because that wavelength gets really, really shaky the moment things get real. And when the moment things get real, you really do find out people's intentions behind things.
And I will say that the group of guys who would go in on this, like it's only a couple people, are all I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to eat glizzies with anybody else. But so the guys that would, be the foundation for this are all people that if it wasn't them, I wouldn't even entertain the idea. I will say that I've known that,
Here's the only other thing that I want to say.
I think that it would work only with us because we wouldn't be doing it for the money.
Here's the thing that's important is that there also is, and they teach this in business school, that sometimes the best people aren't the best business people. And there's nothing wrong with that
Yeah.
because certain people just can't comprehend business and they can't separate. Like I realize that luckily I have that skill to be able to separate business from people.
Yeah.
So when
we're just going to hire you to be the manager.
it's
And there's a lot that would have to go into it because there's not only would we have to find a space, we'd have to have equipment. And what most people don't know is wrestling mats are expensive.
well that
Very
and
expensive.
electricity
Yes.
and a marketing budget and
A wrestling mat the size of this carpet right here, I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars just for this little mat. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, then you have like
How much you're going to charge people?
How much you're gonna charge
schedule,
people.
This, and that. And for us, it'd be more of just getting a space together for people to come and train.
No, that's not even the hard question.
Yeah.
The hard question is how much do you get paid?
Yeah. I don't want any of it.
How do you value yourself?
Yeah.
That's
$0 for me.
that's the hardest part about all of it is that if you're a silent investor, then you just sit back and you don't have
I want zero.
You don't have any say.
I just want, and that's what me and I were talking about is it'd be nice to just have a spot where you can come and go. And so like our MMA team ended up becoming commercialized. We started in a small space. It was real tough. It was, not everyone was welcome. And if new guys, you had to earn yourself, and it was very rough.
That was the one that was in the back, right? It was that really tall building that was like in the back.
Oh, yeah. So you remember that? Yeah. So that was our old wrestling gym.
Yeah.
And it was the same way. It was very, very rough. It was hot all the time. And it was a place where we got together, and it was less about, getting together. We just really got together just to train. We wanted to make ourselves better. And, our old gym was like that. We could come and go. We could stay late. If we wanted to show up in the middle of the night because stuff was going on, we could do that.
Yeah.
And it was a place for us to just get together and just let it all out.
Yeah.
And so we were talking, having a place like that, because the place, the gym like that, it really isn't like that now. It has less of that home feeling and more of this is a place where, it's a business. And that home feeling, when I first got out of wrestling and transitioned to MMA, that's what I went to multiple teams in the area. I trained at multiple places before I found where I wanted to call home because I was looking for that feeling. And I think trying to make a place that mimics that as best as possible would be cool.
But it's expensive.
Yes.
Like that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about is like the expensive part is like trying to do things that you envision to like capture a feeling, but capturing the feeling is not cheap. Like that's that's
and luckily, martial arts isn't a very expensive hobby other than the mats. Mats are always expensive. I mean, it's just how it is. But like you wouldn't need too much as like, furniture wise
right.
and, all that, but still it's still going to be
but
but it's just an idea.
No,
I think it'd be cool.
It's not like a bad idea.
We wouldn't need a big space, but still finding the space, a perfect space is going to be hard.
Well, you would have to just not map it up, but you would have to break it down to the point of like.
And we need somewhere that the overhang is as little as possible.
Well, overhead, but then you have like who is again what I was saying way earlier was like, well, who's the target? Because it can't just be if it was just 4 or 5 of y'all, right? And you guys paid for that, that's basically your own place.
Yeah.
Once you start expanding that part to, okay, are we targeting the high school wrestlers? Are we targeting, average people? Are we
I think it would be more average people because the wrestlers. So it would just be me, obviously, teaching the wrestling. They would teach all the stand-up and the jiu-jitsu and everything else, and I would just assist. Wrestling would be all me, and my outreach with wrestling would be, I know pro fighters, I know college wrestlers, I know high school teams, I know, guys that are on the senior level that would come and do clinics and stuff, which would pay for themselves. But everybody else, I feel like it would be more geared towards your average person to just come and to train. Because back in the day, man, we were in the small gym, dude. Like it was hard for an average person to come in and get their feet wet in the world of martial arts because we were rough. you know, like, oh, it's your first day. That's cool. We're still gonna take your head off. And so that drove a lot of people away. And I think a place that is more welcoming, because I've been told many a time, so he is gigantic, nicest guy you'll ever meet, nicest guy you ever meet. And he gets on to me all the time for being a mean girl, as he calls me. Because I am. Like, a new guy comes to the gym, and I'm like,
yeah,
you know, and it's a bad philosophy to have, because you want to welcome these people, these average people in, who are willing to pay the money to learn these things and get better and be a part of this world without, you know, a fear. A lot of people I know are like, man, I'd love to do martial arts, but I'm scared to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to get my head kicked off, you know, and I can't say, well, come to my gym, because we will kick your head off, and that's just it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think a place that'd be more welcoming to your average person would, you know, would be cool.
Yeah, but you're also older. That's the other part. Is
Yeah, when I was younger, man, I was all about it.
Well, you were competing.
Yeah.
But now
I was a different person then.
But you're not competing anymore. So you're like almost, you've transitioned away from like I want to take your head off to no, we're just chilling.
And that's the one reason why I thought about getting back into competing in like no-gi jiu-jitsu, because it is similar to wrestling, just with you know, with submissions and stuff, but it's less impact on your body. I don't have to cut weight. And that's the biggest thing about fighting is just in wrestling. Cutting weight is grueling. And I could go on like a whole hour spree about cutting weight, and you've seen it.
Yeah.
I was
bad.
Yeah. And so, you know, I do think that I'm gonna, you know, start competing again in that.
I will say though, just as a marketing guy, right? Like just listening to you talk and everything like that, right? Because my first question when I do consulting with people is like, okay, so you have this idea, right? And I can tell your heart's in the right place, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. And you want to reach out to normal average people, right? Okay, well, you have to start from zero.
Yeah.
They don't know anything.
Yep.
All they know is whatever they've seen on TV, whatever they've heard, whatever, right? So you're fighting an uphill battle, right? So you have this concept, and what is the easiest way to get people to walk into that mindset, or not mindset, but that idea, right? When I hear you talk, it actually, there's a huge opening that I think that you may not even be thinking about, right? The way that I hear that is that if you're trying to get people to think about health and think about working out and all that stuff, right? Why not have the concept for yours being like a wrestling workout? It's not wrestling, but it's wrestling workout.
Yeah.
Almost like how they do with like the Orange Fitness thing where you go in and they have but it'd be a more centric focus on wrestling workouts. So that way, if they ever are interested, you're already walking them into, that's just the workout sessions and whatever. But we can, if you ever want to get into like wrestling, this would be the next.
Yeah. I mean, and that would be a good idea to balance the classes, you know, have, because obviously with the way all of our work schedules would be, is, you know, there'd be multiple classes a day taught by different people, and we'd have to, you know, I think doing a fitness themed, you know, because there's boxing gyms around here that don't do like real boxing, but they do boxing workouts. You know, so you're kind of learning a skill, but also improving your health. So I think having classes like that, and then having your traditional like martial arts classes later in the day, would benefit. Because then you're talking to both sides of the, you know. Yeah,
I've never heard of wrestling workouts. But you know that people that are wrestlers are always jacked. So it's almost like,
I know some fighters, pro fighters. One was in the UFC, the other fights professionally. They came into town to train with me at one point, and we did instead of just, you know, teaching and stuff, we actually spent the first 45 minutes just doing wrestling based workouts, and it killed them. They were like, dude, this is rough. And I'm like, oh yeah, it gets worse. And
but just think of that demographic, right? Like, because again, if you're thinking about the average person wants to be healthy. They want to, but they don't want.
And it's always better to do it with someone else. It's hard wanting to improve or get better, and you're doing it by yourself. You know, no one likes working out alone, and I think that's one reason, other than Kalen. And you know, I
do have a funny story, but.
But you know, having someone else there with you makes the suck less. Yeah. And that was one thing in wrestling because every wrestling practice sucked. I mean, it was always just grind you down to your lowest and build you back up every single practice. But having the other people around you, I mean, a lot of the guys that I wrestled with coming up, I still talk to every single day because we,
Yeah. Well, what I was trying to say is that when you have the word wrestling, right, it's a negative connotation because that is some sort of fighting or regarding whatever, right? And people are adverse to that.
Yeah.
However, if you can take that word and just say it's more of a subjective word, it's still a workout.
Yeah.
We're not going to be doing anything where you're going to be doing a suplex or taking someone down. We're going to be working out just in that style. It makes it way more appealing of, wait, I don't have to fight anybody. I don't have to
It'd be a good fitness class for sure.
Yeah. But that's the way I would try to think about it for normal people. And in that way, if they want to expand onto that, it's like, but we also do wrestling. Like that's also what we do. This is just for normal people that aren't, that want to get fit, but they don't want to do the, what is it? The whatever the fitness thing is where they go and, where they compete and do all that.
Like the high rock stuff and the CrossFit?
Yeah. Right. We just do something that's more centric to wrestling. Yeah. Right.
I mean, it makes sense.
But that's what I would say is just like, it takes a lot of work. Everyone has to be on the same level. Everybody has to put in the same level of effort.
Yep.
And then once money starts to trickle in, that's the next big.
Yeah.
That's the next big one is like, you're easy to work with, but it's always with other people. You don't know how it is when money comes in and how that can cause some problems as always, but that's just business. So, but that sounds like a cool idea. Like if that's something that you want to do, just flesh it out.
Yeah.
Run mock things, talk to people and just of all walks of life. That's the thing that I'm learning now. And just what I do is just talk to all sorts of people. Yeah. Because perspective is such an interesting thing, but it's such a unique thing that a lot of people pay a lot of money for. Yeah. So if you can just go and do whatever, then, whatever. So, but that was good.
We'll talk about it more on another episode.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
Keep you updated.
We might do an ad. Yeah. Right? We might sponsor it. So, who knows? Outside of that, the one thing, and we'll end on this one. So I'm super into AI. Like, I'm not pro AI where everything needs to be AI or, whatever, right? But I do like AI. I use it every day and everything. So I got really curious because I read a lot of tech stuff. So I was reading that you can use it to do health hacks and all that stuff, right? So I was like, well, I know I'm not healthy. I know that I don't work out, whatever, but let me just test it out, right? So I was like, I want to create a plan. I'm going to get supplements and everything. What do I need to do to cut, like kind of this fat? So it was like, can you upload a picture so that way I can analyze?
Of you?
Yeah.
Terrible idea. I did that with AI one time and asked it to critique me after a workout, and it gave me my strengths and it did not let up on my weaknesses. Oh, dude, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror for a week.
Well, so I uploaded it because for the longest time I thought, man, I'm just really fat. So then it analyzed everything and it was like, well, in actuality, you're not fat. You don't have any muscle. I was like, oh my God. So it's like, we need to reconstruct this. I thought you had more body mass all over. You have no upper muscle. So we need to reconfigure this to build upper muscle.
You're like, I'm done. I'm getting off this thing.
I was like, oh,
dude,
okay.
They do not hold back. I'm telling you.
No, I have
never let AI critique me again.
It was really funny because then it just happened, and this is going to sound crazy. I went to church, and what they were talking about was like AI and the church and whatever. And the thing that he kept saying was like, yeah, AI never challenges you. I'm like, bro, AI just told me that I have no muscle mass and I'm basically skinny fat and I need to get muscle. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what AI y'all use, but mine basically tells me I'm an idiot every day.
Mine tore me apart that day, dude. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So anyways, I just thought that was funny talking about working out and everything like that. So outside of that, anything else? Any other?
We got to end on a question though.
Well, I'll just use my question from earlier. So if it's not the middle of the year, if y'all are watching this, if you are a midpoint of the year or it's the end of the year for you, whenever you find this video, right? what is something that this year of 2026 or whatever year you're watching this, right? What is the thing that you have learned for that year? For that year alone, you can say, I definitely learned this in 2026, right? So,
yep. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment.
Yes. Please do all that. We're trying to grow everything. For all of our older people that use Facebook, we now have that going.
Subscribe, and then leave a comment for us, and I'll give you a discount into my cult. Only on this episode, though. Only on this episode.
I'm going to have to put not, because if not, we'll get hit for that. So definitely not for real.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to
leave
say.
a comment, interact with us.
Yeah, if you can follow us on any platform you use, it really doesn't matter. We just want to like hyper grow this thing. So should we put it like a number, or should we just like...
We just got to let it grow.
You just got to let it grow? Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely say, though...
It's doing better.
Well, you just found a number that completely blew me away.
Yes,
so,
which we'll have to look more into before we tell y'all. But it definitely is doing better. The ball's rolling faster than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
For sure.
I will definitely say, if we could just hit 100...
Yeah, I think that'd be a great...
If we could hit 100 on YouTube or 100 on Facebook, whatever, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I would love for all of y'all to join us over at Patreon. That's where the...
I think once we get 100, we really start pushing towards... We'll figure it out. We'll figure all that out for you guys.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Thank y'all for joining us.
So,
thank y'all for listening to us.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we... How could we try to do that and not? That's crazy.
Me and my tappy happy foot. We'll see y'all next time.
Tappy happy foot?
Yeah, I don't know. I just came up with that on the fly.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just be coming up with stuff, you know?
Yeah. More like tabby happy glizzy. Oh, yes.
Everything in me just broke.
That's not good.
Yeah. Going to the actor. This is the soul world now.
That's not good. Are we good? Oh, it finished. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you later.
Thank you, guys.